Hello, everybody. Welcome to Frontline Football. I just want to ask you one question. How are you doing today? Because me, I'm doing incredible. Might I just say thank you, everybody, for 51 subscribers. Might I just say we are extra proud of you today, and thank you for helping us reach that first goal. Okay, and also, we got an announcement here. Somebody on here is the birthday boy. It is Zach. Is he on my other screen? Okay, Zach. He is, yeah, it's his birthday. So everybody, wish him happy birthday in the comments. So, might I just say, you want to say anything, Zach?
Nope.
Well, thank you for the 50 subscribers and happy birthday to Zach. First up on our list, let's just hand it off to Jack.
All right, we got some great segments today. We're going to start it out with the Cave of Rumors, my favorite segment of all time. Then we're talking about Yannick, the Vikings flipping Yannick for a third, and he's off to Baltimore. Then I think we have AB's back from the dead and going to Tampa Bay. Everson Griffin has been traded to the Detroit Lions from Dallas. And last but not least, we have the injury update, as once again, some major names went down. So we're going to open it up with the Cave of Rumors.
Okay, everybody. Today we got, as always, whenever something happens, the mystical Cave of Rumors. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going in here and finding you the best rumors that come out. Let's see, what do we have in here? Don't really see much. Ooh, there's a notebook. Ooh. Okay. Well, I think I saw Adam Gase getting fired in there. Peyton Manning coming back. Eli Manning's possible return. And Saquon coming back early. Has some rumors. Let's see what the mystical Cave of Rumors has for us today. Ooh, we got some trade rumors coming up before the trade deadline. Now, this is from Bleacher Report. Good source, good source. Okay, so Bleacher Report's number one trade that they say will happen, or is rumored they say will happen. These are going to be blockbuster deals that would blow up the 2020 NFL trade deadline. First one is Ryan Kerrigan to the Seahawks for a 2022 third-round pick. The next one on the list is Texans wide receiver Kenny Stills to the Packers for a 2021 third-round pick. Next, we have Quinnen Williams to go to the San Francisco 49ers for a second-round pick. Next, we have A.J. Green going to the New England Patriots for a 2021 third-round pick. Finally on this list, we have Texans defensive end J.J. Watt going to the New Orleans Saints for a 2021 second-round pick. So, what does everybody think of those moves?
I like the JJ one. I think it's pretty good for JJ. Jack, what about you?
I think the Kerrigan one, I think that's a little undervalued, but it makes sense. Gives the Colts a little more edge pressure. Now they have Buckner, Houston, and Kerrigan. If this were to happen, it gives them a pretty good defense. Kenny Stills, I think that's a little overvalued, but it makes sense as well. I don't like the Quinnen Williams spot. I think he could get traded. I don't think it's best with the Niners because they just invested a first-round pick in an interior defensive lineman. So I think maybe a trade for a second would be used somewhere else. And the JJ one's intriguing because it would be like trying to go on one last run with the Saints. No, we never know. JJ could play longer than at least 1 year. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Okay, so with the Kerrigan deal to the Seahawks are already taking on a bunch of cap with their team. So I don't think that Kerrigan is going to help with that cap situation. And yes, they are in a win-now mode, but they still got to pay their players at the end of the day. Kerrigan does not seem like a smart deal to have on that team whenever the trade deadline comes up. And the third-round pick is very, very much undervaluing him. At least a second for the dude. And then with the Quinnen Williams thing, the Jets invested a first-round pick. They haven't seen enough of Quinnen yet to make an assessment on if he's good or not. So they're not going to trade their first-round pick, who may actually become a superstar in the next couple of years, And then with the AJ Green deal to New England, for the last time, Patriots, you guys are not getting another receiver for a third-round pick, and especially a receiver like AJ Green. You're going to have to at least give up a first-round pick for him if you even want to be on the table. And then Kenny Stills to the Packers for a third-round pick. From what I've been hearing outside of the Houston training camp from the Houston Chronicle, they're going for first-round picks with this. They're trying to get that first-round pick in next year's draft so then they can draft somebody like Jamar Chase, or not one of the quarterbacks, but one of the wide receivers or defensive end prospects. And then JJ for a second, that seems insanely low for a guy who's about to get his 100th sack in his career. Just saying, they're going to have to trade just a bit more to please the Texans with that deal.
All right. I already said my thoughts.
Oh, you did?
Okay. Yes, I did. Okay, so the next one is going to Jack.
Next story, we have Yannick Ngakoue has been traded from the Minnesota Vikings to the Baltimore Ravens for a third-round pick. I'm going to open this one up to Zach. What are your thoughts?
Are the Ravens trying to build back Saxonville? Because if they are, then that's pretty cool. That's actually really cool. But they're not going to be able to rebuild the whole squad, but it's pretty cool that they got another pass rusher. And with Calais Campbell, which that will make an amazing duo, and the Ravens defense just got even better. And he wasn't doing that bad. I think 5 sacks in Minnesota. That's still really good. Not like elite, but it's still like fine. It's more than Chandler Jones, I think. Maybe. I don't know. So yeah. So Josh, what about you?
Well, I think that this could be a good deal for them, but it doesn't really seem like with their team they need to be bulking up their line. It seems like more they need to bulk up their secondary with this team because, yes, they have some good pieces in there, but the defensive line is not their struggle right now. They should really be going after safeties because they just lost Earl Thomas in the offseason. They still don't have a safety to replace him. So it'd be a really good idea to start going after secondary instead of linemen, because secondary is what lost them the game against the Titans last year. Jack, your thoughts?
As for Baltimore, I agree with Josh. I think they probably should have gone after a secondary piece, like a free safety or a strong safety, get someone else in there. It was a good deal, like statistic, because the Vikings got Yannick for a second, and the Ravens just flipped him for a third. As for Minnesota, what are you guys doing? He led you in sacks, and you gave up a second for him, so now you're going to just ship him away for a third. I think this goes into the theory. I think Minnesota is trying to join in for the tank for Trevor if he does come out of college.
All right. So the next story is my story. AB just got signed to the Buccaneers for a 1-year deal. Now I'm going to hand this one off to Jack. What are your thoughts?
I think this is an interesting deal. I wouldn't necessarily call it bad for the player, the talent of AB, because it's there. He's a pretty good receiver, and he's been great in Pittsburgh. But the question is, does he still have it? I don't even remember the last time he took the field. Was it last year against Miami, week 2? It's been a while, but if he still has it, it will be a good move. I'm a little worried about locker room. You better hope that he doesn't do anything dumb to hurt your locker room, because they were talking about Arians in a press conference that everyone's a hard worker and they have a good culture. And AB doesn't believe in good culture, so he went to the Raiders. He almost killed the Steelers. They finally came back from the dead. But I think it's a good move for the talent. Just got to make sure that you keep your locker room together with him around. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I think that this could be a good deal if AB shows that he can ball out like he did with the Steelers in early times. But if he is the Oakland Raiders AB, you're in for, well, for us, it's going to be a lot of fun because we get to cover a lot of stories about AB's antics. But if you're the team, it's a terrible move on your part if this doesn't work out. Because this guy, yeah, you got him for a little bit of a price. But also, can't forget about in December, he has a sexual assault court hearings that are coming up. So if those go through, he's in jail. You can't use him. And this is just a deal where you don't know if it's going to be good or bad. I think it was mostly done by Tom Brady to try to get his guys they wants on the team in to the team. But I feel like this was not a move that Tampa should have made. It doesn't seem like a smart move with the receivers that they already have on the team.
All right. So for me, I really like it. AB he has a good work ethic. It's just off the field, he's a little, how do I put this? Doesn't follow the rules. That's a nice way to put it now. I was actually thinking in my head. But he's a great player on the field, and he has a great work ethic when he's on a team. I mean, on the Steelers, he did amazing. He made Juju Smith-Schuster, their second option, look amazing. So, yeah, that's pretty good for them. And yes, I know that he does mess up cultures, but if he doesn't mess up the Bucs culture, which he will a little bit because it's Antonio Brown, but it will be fine, I think. It will also be really fun to watch him. So, Jack, you already said your take. So, the next story will go to Jack. So, yeah.
We got another trade as Cowboys defensive end Everson Griffin is off to the Lions. I'll open us up this time, and I'm going to give my take here. I think this is it shows something on the Cowboys specifically that I don't think they're interested in necessarily winning games because they have an awful defense, so you'd think, okay, let's get some pieces on the defense. But they're doing the complete opposite and getting rid of pieces on the defense. I'm not sure how good of a season he was having or not, but Everson Griffin's still a solid edge rusher. As for Detroit, their defense has been lackluster, and maybe this is a good move. I think this is just a tester move, and we'll just have to see what happens. It could do a lot of good, it could do a lot of nothing, it could do a lot of bad, and you wasted a pick. You never know. But I'm curious to see what happens to Detroit. They're 3-3. Is this a chance? Can they get on a hot streak here? That is the big question. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I don't really understand what the Cowboys are doing. Looking at the Cowboys game when I faced them, they were trash. They were really bad, like as bad as the Jets. And we destroyed the Jets. So if we destroy the Cowboys by about the same amount of points that the Jets put up, then that would be an amazing matchup to watch. Jets versus Cowboys. Who's worse? So yeah, and they need a good defense because they're on their third string quarterback. So I don't understand this move. Now, great job for the Lions to pick up a guy who probably is doing decent in the NFL. Didn't get a sack on Kyler Murray though. So yeah. Josh, what about you?
I think that this could be a good move to heat up Detroit's defense. I mean, they're 3-3, and in their division, as long as they get second, they could probably make the playoffs with a good enough record. So I feel like this is just another way just to bolster that defense to make sure that they can win games and win not as close as what they did in Arizona. That they don't have to rely just on Matt Stafford to get it all done. And they can have somebody else for Jeff Okuda to rely on to rush the quarterback so then he can get those picks. So this is probably going to be a good deal. But Dallas, they could surprise us. Not expecting much, but they could surprise us with their third string quarterback who they just drafted this year.
Yeah. All right. So, any closing thoughts? All right. So, now we're on injury report. Yay, I guess, but this is not good for the players. So, first up, Chris Godwin with a hand fracture. It's one of his fingers, but we don't know which finger, and we don't want to research it, so we're saying a hand fracture. Next is Kenyon Drake, my running back. He has an ankle injury. My team is getting injured every single game. I don't understand why. Then next, Chris Carson. at least we got their running back out. So if you take our running back, we take your running back. Yep. And he has a sprained foot. Yeah. Then this is gonna hurt Browns fans a lot. Odell Beckham Jr. with an ACL tear. Yikes. And then we have Andy Dalton with a concussion. I think he's done. I think he's almost retired out of the NFL now. So it's really bad for them. Cowboys are horrible. And then Debo Samuels, we don't really know what his injury is, but we know he's injured. Yeah, so I'm going to hand this one off to Jack.
Less injuries than normal this week. Still a couple. Feel bad for Odell. Wish him the best. And I'm curious what happens in Cleveland. Is Baker able to use, because it's not like Odell was the only weapon. They had Jarvis, Austin Hooper. I think he was a 1,000-yard tight end last year, or he's close. He was a solid tight end. And Njoku, maybe he'll get more playing time. So I'm curious to see how that dynamic works. But in good news, I do not think the MetLife turf took any sacrifices this week from the other team. So that's the only bright side I have in the injury report this week. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Okay, so I think that one injury they left off is Isaiah Irving with the neck injury. But I feel like this could be very detrimental to these teams. With Kenyon Drake, he's your running back. He helps alleviate the pressure so then Murray can look good when he throws and not have as much pressure on him. So that's a big loss in the run game. Then Chris Carson, he's your running back. Yeah, they'd have Carlos Hyde, but still it's good to have that second running back to help the other running back with his help the running back with his carries. And then Odell, that's a really big loss for the Browns this year. Sorry, it's really bad to see him go. And so yeah, it's really gonna be a crazy thing to see how the Browns start drawing up their plays without Odell. Zach?
There's a lot of big losses. Kenyon Drake, well, he'll be back in a few weeks, but that's still a big loss. But we do the Cardinals still have Chase Edmonds, though, and he did score a lot of rushing touchdowns, but I don't think he's a good number one running back. So, yeah. Also, I'm noticing all the really good running backs are getting injured. Really interesting. And then there's just Frank Gore and, I don't know, freaking David Johnson. Two really bad running backs still up. And J.J. Watt, how is he not injured either? How? Because he's always injured by this time. Just good job, JJ, for being healthy. But again, OBJ, that's a big loss. There's so many big losses on there. Chris Carson, injured again. We've covered him twice already, so that's not good. Maybe Seahawks are going to be looking for a new halfback. I would. But yeah. Okay, so that's mostly it for my takes. Does anybody have any closing thoughts?
Well, I have one thing. Great job to Ron Rivera for beating cancer. That happened today, so great job for him.
Yeah. Jack, you?
I got nothing this week. I'm just going to plug the Instagram and the Twitter. Instagram's got the polls, so do that for predictions every Wednesday.
All right. Josh, what about you?
Okay, everybody, don't forget to punch that like button. I accidentally slapped it. Whoops. Don't forget to punch that like button, hit that subscribe button, and here's the thing. Hit that notification bell too, because you get to always have in your sub box us, and you get to always see when a new video comes out, and you get to see more of this content first. That's a great thing. So that's all for me. I hope you guys are having a great day.
All right.
We will see you guys next week. Same time, same place.